Hello everybody, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you might be in the world right now. I am Chris Green and today we're going to start the first of many videos that I want to call Riff Raff. I'll be going through the riffs and structures of songs that I've played in over the years, whether that be with Taiketo or Furion or some of my older bands like Rubicon Cross, Pride. I'll be covering a bunch of different stuff, and if this goes well, then I'll start doing some more videos that include things like more teaching-based stuff to do with improvisation, scales, arpeggios, modes, techniques like sweep picking, alternate picking, legato, things like that. So, but for the purpose of today, for this first video, we are going to be having a run through probably the most popular song of the band that I currently play in, which is Taiketo, and the song is called Forever Young. The first thing we have to get here is our power chord. Okay, so we're gonna do a little power slide into this thing. You hear the big drums here, and your power slide's basically just hitting those thick strings, riding up, riding down, not aiming for any frets. You're just trying to create some raucous noise. And then when you come down, we land on the A power chord here. And our power chord there is going to be fret 2 on the D string, fret 2 on the G, just creating a straight A power chord. Careful not to push down too far, you don't want to get down to that major third note, this C sharp here, it's going to just sound major, it's all forever happy. You can't do that. So you arch the finger slightly to make sure that you don't actually touch those strings, so it's going to sound more like... It's kind of dampened under there, do you know what I mean? Okay, so after the first power chord hit, you're going to do a quick upstroke and then 2 palm mutes on the A string. The palm mute there, if you're not sure what it is, you basically you bring this part of your palm down on the strings just inside the trem bar there, and it creates this lovely, you don't really push down because you don't want to push the string out of tune, but it creates this nice, that palm mute, and that's what you hear when you hear all those shredders down. That's without. That palm muting sound is really good, get used to that. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We're up to now getting our little finger up to fret 5 on the G, that's our C note. So what we're creating there is a minor third. You're creating this like really nice dark sound, okay? So, and then you do another upstroke there too, so. Then the next time you hit down, you're going to get this pull off this. So your little finger's on 5 on the G, your third finger is on 4 and your first finger is on 2, okay? So you're basically playing an A, B, C note there. And you're going to pull off all 3 fingers on that string at the same time. Little finger pulls off. By doing that, you pull down and off the string, keeping the other fingers where they are. That's how you get the pull-off technique. And then you're going to hammer that third finger back onto the B. So it's... But what you are going to try and do is to get that going while you've got the A power chord underneath it, okay? We're going to move this kind of power chord shape that we had here up a fret. So your first finger's now on fret 3, third finger's now on fret 5, okay? So 3 on the D, 5 on the G. And you've got a bit more of a stretch here. You're going to have to really spread those fingers out because your little finger's going to be trying to get all the way up to fret 7. Piece those 2 together, and then we're up here into a G power chord. So we've just moved it up again, okay? So we're on 5 on the D and 7 on the G. Then we've got a last little section here, and you're going to play an F power chord, and then just hit the open strings. Open D, open G. So that's going to be going. So coming down from the top up there. Another big power slide in. So I'm going to take you one time around that whole riff now. I'm going to do it slowly, then I'm going to do it up to speed. I'm going to play that up to speed for you. And then we repeat the riff again. The only thing that changes at the end is we're going to have... So where does that riff happen? I will show you. I'll play as if we're playing second time round now. All right, we made it through the intro and now we are at the acoustic part. This verse section is A sus2 and you're just going to pick straight up and down from the A string. You pick all the way from the A and you're going to come back, you end up on the D. Then you're going to create that F power chord that we were talking about earlier. And you're going to skip over the B string, okay? So you're going to go D, G, E as far as strings you're picking. So. And then you hit the 3 on the D and you're going to slide the power chord. So the whole of that there. Then we're into just straight open chords. So we're A sus2, F over A, G over A, and then you drop your first finger, just the first finger. This is going to create like it's kind of like a D major triad over the A. Then you do it again. Now we get a chance to rock out again. I roll the volume up, I smack the pick up to the side to make sure it's on the outside, and then I do a build up. Now we're pretty much into the chuggy parts, man. We're just using those same chords that we've been doing, those same little power chords and drops with the finger, but we're just changing the picking a little. A little riff there, it reminds me of, now I'm thinking about it, what does it remind me of? Pacific Rising. It is, it's in there somewhere. Naughty you, $1 billion movie, stealing a riff. And here's the riff. A, C, B, open E, G, fret 3. And then back to the A power chord again. So. Now we come to the little harmony section. Now you need 2 guitars players for this really. The part that I'm playing, because I'm not really into big stretches when I'm playing live, that might have been how Brooke did it. I'm playing little finger on fret 10 on the D, and then fret 9 with my first finger on the G, and then my third finger is going to play 9 on the G. So you've got basically little finger, first finger, third finger, first finger. Drop down 2 frets, so your first finger is on 5 now on the G, and do a hammer-on pull-off. And then a slide down to 4. So. And what I do is I palm mute just the first note. And now, because we don't have two guitar players, we hopefully have the aid of my harmonies. So really, when you're listening to it live, all I'm doing is just basically clicking a button on my foot controller for my Kemper and getting this. Miraculous. Two guitarists in one go. So that harmony up there, if you are interested, that's what the actual harmony is. 9, 10, 12 on the G. Hammer on, pull off 9, 10, and slide down to 7. That's what harmony you're playing. Okay, so power chord, F power chord, which is 1 on the E, 3 on the A. C power chord, which is 3 on the A string, 5 on the D. G power chord, which is 3 on the E, 5 on the A. So you're going. And you very quickly hit that F power chord before we do this little ascending lick. Palm mute every first note, pick upwards, open every second note. Okay, so we've got. Then quickly go to an octave, which is our E note, 7 on the A string. And then we're going to try and, not really on a pinchy sound. There, you get a pinchy out of it, so it's I'm not a real pinchy king. They kind of happen on the moment. Okay, so now we are up to the chorus. It's pretty standard, pretty easy. You probably don't realise from hearing on the record because it's kind of buried in the mix, but all you're doing is power chords followed by a double stop, which is played on fret 5 on the D and fret 5 on the G. It's actually kind of creating just the 5th and the octave of a C power chord. So you're going to go A power chord and a couple of mutes. Then your finger's already here, ready to play C to do the same thing. Then you go down and play G power chord, F power chord. So the whole of that chorus is going to be going. And then we're back into the riff again, the intro riff. Now we're into the second verse. Now on the record, the guitar's literally just palm muting an open A string all the way through. God, don't want to hear me singing. The only thing that changes is there's this like really nice lead guitar lick that runs up in the background when it comes into the second half of the verse, where it says, "We made a deal, you and I," where Jed gets to sing with his lovely, lovely voice. Hang on a sec. So if the verse is running like this from the end of the chorus. You notice that I'm changing from offbeat to onbeat and stuff. When I'm playing live, I kind of do the same thing. I kind of just do my own thing. So be radical, do your thing. Don't be told you've got to live in a box, man. Anyway, at that point, I pull off like a little run. I'm not sure it's in the record because it's very buried in the production, but I do like a groupings of 6 run in A Aeolian. So let me take you through that lick quickly. Starting on the A string, fret 12, 14, 15. Same on the next string, D. Next string, we're going to stretch it out slightly. We're going to play 12, 14, 16. That's your first finger, middle finger and little finger. And then we're going to shift that up a fret. So it's going to be 13, 15, 17 on the B string. And then the same on the E string. Then what I do is I sequence it to make it last longer, to make it a little more interesting, okay? So basically I repeat every string after the first string, after the A string. And then I either slide off or I do a bend. I think it's a bend. So, if I play that up to speed for you. Once I've done that riff, I go straight back into the second part of the verse that you had in the previous verse. So. I'm going to keep going here. Same again. Back into the pre-chorus. The only thing that's going to change about the second chorus is we hit an E chord at the end where we change key and do the solo. I actually only do the thick string because I can stop it dead. Much better. All right, I hope you're still with me here. I'll tell you a quick story before I do this solo. The first time I fell in love with this song, I was in my 20s, I think, and I used to live in a place called Brighton. Well, it's actually called Brighton and Hove. And there was this place just inside Hove, near where the singer of my old band, Furion and Pride, Matt Mitchell, he used to live near there. And we'd always go and get like messed up. And there was this tiny little bar called the Greenhouse Effect. A bunch of you might know it out there. And it was actually a bar, like a dingy bar, underneath what looked like quite a nice bar, really. And anyway, they used to have a rock night down there every second week, I think, maybe once a month on a Friday or something. And it was, you could still smoke back then. It was just, you know, smoky and stinky because it's like bunches of metalers. And this was the last song. This is the last song they played every night. You know, most clubs around the country, it was like still of the night. That was your last one, you know. But this was the last one they play every single night, and every single time I'd be up on the dance floor. And I don't even think I knew the name of the band until I finally, like maybe after a few months, went up and said, "Who's that track, that Forever Young song or whatever?" And he was like, "Oh, it's Taiketo." Anyway, it was years after that that I ended up joining the band. Anyway, here we go. Solo time. Right, now this solo is predominantly based around the A minor pentatonic scale. And the Aeolian scale. So when we come in with our first lick, it's a purely pentatonic lick. Okay, we're going to do a hammer-on pull-off from 5 and 8 on the B string. And then we're going to play 7, 5 on the G. Then we go down to 7 on the D, and then back to 5 on the G. That's your hammer-on pull-off again there. So I was hard on that one. You've got to really get that little finger, real shallow pull-off so it doesn't get the thin string. And I always add a little bit of a palm mute to make it sound a little cleaner. You know what I mean? And then the slide. So we've got a slide from 7 to 9 on the G. And then we're in position to play this next lick, which is 7, 9, 10, 9. Sorry, 7, 9, 10, 9, 7. So, then we do a very similar riff, but we're dropping, spreading the fingers to those notes in the scale there, 5, 7, and 9. So it's Then we do a little rake. That's a pull off there, 6 to 5 on the B, and 7-5 on the G. And then we skip up to 8 on the B. That's 8-6-5. And then we skip up to 8 on the E and play 8-7-5. This is basically playing the Aeolian scale. So it's then we're going to play 8-5 on the B, and then do a big old bend on the B string. Well, not a big old bend, but a tone bend on the B string, fret 8. Bend, release, bend, bend again. So the whole of that section there is going to be I'll play that up to speed. You notice I'll maybe stick an extra couple of notes in there or an extra couple of things that just I feel adds to it a little, adds a little more character. I'm giving you the bare bones, so you know, take it and run with it. Okay. Now we head all the way 12 frets up to the next octave, and we're basically playing the same scale up here. It's just it's 1 octave higher. So you're going to be around the 17, 18, 19, 20 region of this the neck here. Right, so it's the same as if we were going. Same notes. If you just think about that scale shape, you won't have any problems up here. So 17, 18, 20, and then 17, 20 straight into a bend. And then come down, pick the 20 again, then play 19. Same lick again, except you're going to bend the 19. That's a semitone bend, just 1 fret. Don't overbend it, or it'll sound horrific. So that part of the riff. Now we've got this nice little, it's not a pedal tone, but it's a nice little movement. What you're doing is you're kind of taking each scale position, using the same sequence and dropping the scale position down slightly. So it's very classical based, actually, to be fair. You play 17 on the B, but go straight up to 20, 19, 17 on the E. And then come down and you're going to the next position down here. So it's now going to be 15 on the G, 15 on the B, and then 19, 17, 15 on the E. So, and then the same again, move down 2 frets. So we're dropping down using the A Aeolian scale, and we're about to change key down here. So and then we're about to change key. That's where it changes and goes into B at that point, B minor. That's the big dramatic change. That's what I loved about Brooks' solos. There was always stuff in there that was like, ooh, what's happening now? It suddenly makes it twice as serious. You know, it's like when you have that change from, I don't know, it's like you're getting chased by a pack of wolves, and like that's this part of, like now a velociraptor joined them. Things just leveled up a bit. That's what I loved about that part anyway. Like, it makes it sound super serious, classical music orientated. Classical music was always known for that kind of drama, you know what I mean? Drama. Anyway, so right at the end there, what you were doing is playing 12, borrowing your 12s there, 12 on the B, 12 on the E. And that F sharp, the change there, F sharp, which isn't in your key of A Aeolian, that's the note that is making us go, wow, what's that? And when you're changing, just a tip for people when you are improvising or writing your own solos, think about key changes. And when you change that key, aim for a note that is not a common note between the two keys, okay? Because both this note here, the G and the E, they're common notes between those two keys. This one, the F sharp's the one that makes the difference. That's why you go for it, okay? So the whole of that descending run now. It sounds a little odd when you play it slowly because it's like, well, one of those things is not the right thing. You know, it sounds a bit like that. But when you speed it up and have the track in the background, it makes complete sense. Now, the tapping lick, the bit that everyone's been waiting for, right? I've got to be honest, there are certain gigs where if we've had like some technical difficulties, you know, we're like, you know, my pedal board wasn't working and the curtain's about to go up and we're about to play, it's always this lick that I'm like, man, if you mess up the tapping lick, it's always the last song of the night. That's the bit that's just going to make you feel like shit. So I always try and get this one right. It is actually, theoretically, a very simple lick. You're going to be coming down 4 strings of the B Aeolian scale here. So here we go. We're up here on. Now I would switch this, by the way, to my bridge pickup. It sounds much better. If it's on this pickup, I don't know, it's just not sharp enough. So we tap down, I'll show you the scale first. So it's going to be 19, 17, 15 on the E, same on the B. We shift down a fret, so now we're playing 18, 16, 14 on the G. And then we're going to be coming down and playing 17, 16, 14 on the D. But we're not going to be picking that, okay? So we give our little stretchy fingers a break and we tap. Now personally, I'm not one of these people that suddenly tucks my pick up somewhere and uses my first finger to tap. I use my middle finger to tap, that way I can hold on to the pick at any time, okay? So you tap with the middle finger on fret 19, pull off to 17, pull off to 15. And just practice that a few times out. Now I'm using this part of my hand here to palm mute the bottom few strings so that you're not getting any of this like that ringing out basically. And then do the same on the string underneath. And practice just going between those two strings for a couple of times. And once you feel like you've got that, move on to the next one, which is basically me tapping 18 on the G and pulling off 16, 14. Add it on the end. And then the last one, 17, 16, 14. Okay, so that's your first part of the tapping section, okay? The next part, we shift down a position. This one's a bit easier because 3 of the patterns are exactly the same. You're tapping 16 on the G, pulling off to 14 on the G, and then 12. And you do the same thing on the G and the D and the A. And then on the last string, the E string, you're going to do 15, 14, 12, and then hammer on to end on that F sharp, which is the 5th of B. That's why it works so well, ending on that note. Okay, so at that up to speed. So the whole lick played slowly. Okay, and then we're going to play that lick up to speed up there. After that, we play like a B minor arpeggio section. So little finger is going to play 14 on the A string, middle finger plays 12 on the D, first finger plays 11 on the G. And I recommend palm muting the first two notes. Then you go back a note, and you're going to add this note here with your third finger, which is fret 12 on the B. So it's, and then you play the last two notes again and pick up fret 10 on the E string. So you can see you're doing threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But this is actually called displacement because you're playing over fours. So instead of it being like diddly 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 dee like an Irish ditty or something, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, you're actually playing it over four. So it's going, if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it displaces it, gives it a really cool sound. The last notes there, by the way, were 12 on the B, 10 on the E, and 14 on the E. That completes the arpeggio. So the whole of that arpeggio is... And then you follow that just with a... That's 10, 14 on the E, and then 12 on the B. And back to the 10 on the E there. It's actually a tricky one live, like, because if we speed up a lot, you know, if Mike's like really kicking it back on the kit and it's really firing up on the tempo, it's difficult to pick that one up sometimes. But anyway, we're now going to slide up. So after this, I've missed that note more times than I should do when it comes to Taiko gigs. I am not going to lie to you. Okay, so when you come up the arpeggio to get into the slide, you're pushing that slide there and you're bending on 21 on the E string. So if you've got a Telecaster, you're pretty up there. Actually, you might not even have that. You might have 20 frets. So you bend 21, come back down, hammer on 19 to 21 and back to 19. Right, then we're going to come down, we're going to play this parallel fifth B section. I tend to mute the first one, 11 on the G, then it's 12 on the B, 14 on the E. And that little lick there is 14 twice, and then 10 on the E, 14 on the B, back to 10 on the E, and then 14, 12, 10. And then we're going to come up and do a similar thing. It's not a parallel fifth though with G, sorry. You're actually playing like a root, major third, and then octave, which is 12 on the G, 12 on the B, 15 on the E. You stop there on the second time round. And you do this trill, which is basically 15, 17 on the E string. Then the tough part. This is the E one, okay? It's quite a stretch, a little hard. I tend to have to move my arms a little, maybe raise the guitar a little in order to get that stretch in. Now you pedal off 12 on the B string. So you've got to stretch all the way up there to 19 while keeping your first finger on 12 on the B. Then we're basically coming down what is E major arpeggio. You're going to place 17 on the E, back to 16, and then do a pull-off. So 17, 16, 17, 16, but you do a pull-off second time. And then come down that D shape, which is 17 on the B and 16 on the G. Then play the octave, which is 19 on the E. You hold that note and then bend. That's where you're starting to get back that modulation in order to bring us all the way around so we can play the A riffs again. Actually, you know what, from the tapping, let's do it from the tapping, a little slow. Apart from the end of the track ending in pretty much the same way as we did on the verses with the clean stuff. On the record, it does that, but we don't do that. We slowly. And everyone goes mental, you know, just playing as many notes as they can. As if they haven't played enough notes already, we're like, let's get as many more notes as we can in there. And that's the whole track. I hope it's, you know, been useful, entertaining. I'm not even sure if there's people still watching by this point, but see you soon.